Morning everybody, it is day 29 out of our 30 days of daily language diary videos. I'm ecstatic, it's Monday, like happy Monday. I'm also especially excited to share this moment with you because you know when you have like a perfect hair day? Well, for baristas, you also have a perfect coffee day. And today I dialed in that espresso just to the gram, in, out, and to the second. Oh, it was just beautiful. So I can't wait to take a sip. A moment of silence. That's good. And with my pinky out, I say it's time for a daily question. So today's question comes from Khalifa Ali, who asks, when you get to around B2 in a language, which I assume is the time you feel comfortable leaving it and starting another one, do you completely leave the language you just learned or try and integrate it or continue it once a week or something like that? If you do, does that mean the more languages you know, the less time you will have to learn more because you're maintaining more? So this is a great question. Now, we've talked a lot on this channel about maintaining languages, and of course I wrote a whole book on the subject, but the specific question of how do you add a language, now that is a really interesting one, and it's one where I do think that there is a particular mistake that a lot of people make. Now, how to go about adding a new language is very subjective, and there are lots of ways to do it, so I would definitely say this falls into the category of there's no one correct method. However, in my personal opinion, there is one thing that I think we can identify as a mistake that you should avoid. So to me, the mistake is adding a new language in a way that is directly antagonistic to your goal of maintaining the work and the progress that you already made in other languages. Now notice that I'm being very careful with my wording here. I do not think that your language skills getting rusty over time is a mistake. That's just a fact of life, and it's a fact of learning languages, and especially learning multiple foreign languages. It's happened to me many times. I've documented that on this channel. In fact, I'm going to be documenting a lot more of shaking off the rust of certain languages in the coming months, and I can't wait. It's going to be so nice. But like I said, the mistake is adding a new language in a way that is directly against retaining the progress that you've made through all that hard work, if that is your goal. So I'm going to make the assumption here that that is the goal. Now, like I said, there are several ways to do this, and they're all quite different, and I don't think that there is one specific correct way. So for example, you might decide that, okay, I am now a B2, or I'm high intermediate, or I'm just comfortable with this particular language. Let's say it's French, and now I want to learn Arabic. Now you might say, you know what, the beginner stages are particularly intensive, and I want to really give myself enough time to really push through more quickly and get over the hump as fast as I can into maybe a lower intermediate or a high beginner stage. And so for those first few months, I'm going to dedicate myself to Arabic. I will not be studying French. And as soon as I get to a place where I'm a little bit more comfortable, I'm over the hump, so to speak, well, then I will dial back the Arabic studies and I'll distribute that time across my other language or languages. And that's my plan for how I'm going to integrate this new language into my system, but over time, make sure I retain everything and maintain my language skills. Now, that is not how I like to add languages, and I think there are a few potential problems with this approach. The main one being that it is very difficult to predict how long learning a language to any particular stage is going to take. Now, part of this is because languages can be so vastly different, and so for me right now, if I were to learn Romanian, it might be a lot quicker than right now I've been learning Mandarin for the last 14 months. But even if you've already learned a few languages and you're quite experienced, then you might think, okay, I can predict fairly accurately roughly how long this is going to take me. Well, the problem is that, in my opinion, learning a language successfully, and especially over time, and especially maintaining them, it is all about building positive, healthful habits into your days that support that particular goal of learning and maintaining those languages. And building and maintaining habits, it's hard. Life is just unpredictable. Things come up. And so, again, I just think that that particular approach for me doesn't work as well just because it's unpredictable and we don't really know how long it might actually take. And so you could end up spending a lot more time than you anticipated away from that first foreign language. But the reason why I still think it's a valid approach, if that's what somebody wanted to do, it's because at least they have a plan. At least they have a system where if they stick to the plan, they will over time maintain those languages. And so the key there is that they had a plan. So one of the main points I'd like to make in this video is that I believe most of the time this pitfall occurs when people simply add a new language without having a plan. Sometimes it works out, but a lot of times it doesn't. Now, to be honest, I don't think many people make this mistake on purpose. I don't think many people actually deliberately learn a new language in a way that simply just doesn't work with retaining the other ones. And so with that being said, I think we can actually just distill the mistake itself down to adding a new language without having a plan and without having set up a system that will support this goal of adding a new language while maintaining your other language or languages. Okay, so how do I go about adding a new language? Now, as I've discussed on a few of these daily diary videos, I rarely add new languages. As many of you will know, my main interest lies in learning languages to really high levels and retaining those levels over time. Because the things that really bring me the most joy with foreign languages, those require those higher levels. So for me, reaching a B2 level does not mean I'm going to add a new language, and to be honest, I may not add many more languages. Now, I'm not somebody who has a concrete goal. I know lots of people do have a specific goal for a number of languages, or maybe even a specific list of languages that they would like to learn, maybe by a certain age. That's not how I operate personally. I don't know how many languages I will end up learning over the course of my life. There's so many things that could happen to influence that, and I look forward to that. But at the same time, I already speak 8 languages, and once I become fluent in Mandarin, that would be the 9th. I've told you recently about Dutch, which I used to speak to some level of fluency, and I would still like to get back to that one day. And so Khalifa, to answer that last part of your question about, well, does that mean the more languages you know, the less time you have for learning new ones? In my case, yes, it definitely does, but that's okay. That's a good thing. And I do actually think that this is a thing that polyglots or aspiring polyglots really do need to be careful of. I have seen many experienced polyglots fall into the endless cycle of adding new languages. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but if your goal is to learn languages well, maintain those levels, and actually really enjoy the skills that you have acquired, then that's where I think that is a trap, because I have seen some very, very impressive and experienced polyglots just fall into this never-ending cycle of adding new languages. And then when I talk to them, they tell me, oh my God, like, I wish more than anything I could just go back and improve my French and improve reading and enjoy watching films, but I just can't because now I'm doing Polish. And the problem is that can become very addictive, and there's a certain sort of quick rush of dopamine that we get when we learn new languages and we start to quickly make progress and we get over the hump and we sort of become able to express ourselves a little bit. And one more time, if that's your goal, if that's what you like doing, then I think it's totally fine. My main commentary here is it just depends on your goal. And if your goal, like I said, is to learn languages well, maintain them over time, and enjoy all of the wonderful, bountiful advantages that brings to you, then I do think there's a certain amount of self-discipline that you have to sort of be aware of. And so that's why I don't plan on adding any new languages anytime soon. I would love to get back to Korean, and I would absolutely love to sort of restart the Korean from scratch series that many of you really loved, and that's how a lot of people found me. But again, I'm not planning for that. I don't know when it's going to happen, and for now my focus is getting my Chinese to a sort of basic level of fluency. And it's been years since I was actually able to truly enjoy those other languages that I speak. If you watched yesterday's video about language motivation, oh my God, I promise you're gonna leave that video ecstatic to go and learn. And so for me, adding a new language immediately after getting to B2 in Mandarin, well, that would be antagonistic to those larger goals that I have. So in summary, I believe that the only real mistake you can make when adding a new language is doing so without a plan, but also without a system in place that's going to allow you to achieve those goals of maintaining your previous languages that you studied. I don't think that there's one correct way to do this. I have mentioned a few, and I am sure that this wonderful community on this channel is going to leave all kinds of comments on this video with other ways that you can go about doing this. So I love being able to rely on the just wonderful people that watch these videos and leave just the most insightful, amazing thoughts in the comments every single time. And the third and final thought that we discussed is that it's okay to add a new language, especially if you're at this nice B2 level. But something that I think does not get talked about enough is that I really do believe that we should be conscious of this potential trap where we fall into an endless cycle of adding new languages and we never really get the chance to maintain, or more importantly, enjoy all of those wonderful fruits of our labor, of our hard work, learning those other languages. If you've learned a language to enjoy reading novels or enjoy watching movies or talking to people or any of these things that require a pretty high level, then at a certain point, I personally believe you're gonna have to sort of tell yourself, it's time to actually do that. It's time to enjoy all the work that I've done. And if I keep adding new languages every 3 months, every 6 months, every time I just about reach kind of a higher intermediate, then I worry for you that you'll fall into the same trap that many people I know have, where they're just addicted to adding languages and they never really get to make time to enjoy their other ones. Okay, Khalifa, I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys liked this video. Oh my God, day 29 in the bag. I will see you back here tomorrow for day 30. It's gonna be special. I'm gonna be announcing some exciting new changes and evolutions to this channel. Don't worry, don't panic. Content isn't going away. There's still gonna be lots of regular content. It's only bigger and better things coming your way. So I'll see you here tomorrow morning for the last episode of this season of the Daily Language Diary.